Vlogmas. I am kind of tired today. I know you need to hear that information. So I looked through my little topics and I decided what I'm going to talk about. They're all together, they're supposed to be apart. Is something I've talked about maybe quite a bit before in the past. I'm going to talk about how grief works for people with avoidant personality disorder. Mostly because I have a different topic on the same subject, anyway, using the same words but not really the same thing. That's actually way more important to people, I think, like everybody that has, as opposed to grief specifically. There's not that many people maybe that have actually had to deal with it. I mean, the people who have, this is the time of the year where it hits you really bad. People who haven't, sorry, are not, that's the wrong word. See, I'm tired. Yeah, that is not the right word to say. What I'm trying to say, which is that maybe not the video for you, but and came out as badly as I possibly could have said. So normal grief is you follow the 5 process of grieving that everybody's heard about and everybody's known about. You go back and forth. It's not linear. You do one and then maybe have another reaction. The next day you think you're over it and you're definitely not, and it just goes on and on and on. And that probably sounds really dismissive, and I'm sorry for that. It's not that I'm actually trying to be dismissive. It's more like, okay, well, I kind of wish I could be average sometimes. Because there are extra layers added when you have avoidant personality disorder. Oh, that's a dog. There we go. It goes like that. See, when you see what it is, it makes way more sense. Suddenly it's like, oh, obviously it goes together like this, and it looks like I'm missing another piece. Because, well, maybe it's this one. No. This one? Or maybe it's this one. No. Wild. Anyway, oh wait, it would be a edge piece. There we go. The thing that's layered with somebody who has avoidant personality disorder who is grieving, in addition to the sort of average and classic grieving that people go through, there is a pretty severe secondary set of grieving that most people, some people might have, but most people do not have. And it feels kind of whiny to bring it up, to tell the truth. Not for other people, but for me, it's just like, okay, whatever. Why are you not over this? Why is it coming up? I mean, I had talked earlier about, actually I think it was the very first video I put up about rituals and how we set our own rituals. However, this time of year, it's not even about us setting our own rituals. We do get the sort of reminder that comes in that, hey, you know, this happened at this time of the year. And that does trigger grief for people. Because I do kind of feel like, hey, haven't I already talked about this a lot? Answer is yes, but again, I'm trying to talk about something I sort of know about. So, of course, I'm not actually talking about it because that's what I do. I avoid actually talking about what I say I'm going to talk about. What it is I would talk about is that the second aspect that makes grieving when people have avoidant personality disorder even worse and makes them feel like they're going crazy is that you may have had a very multifaceted, let's call it that, relationship with a person who has died. They could be somebody who was the trigger person for your avoidant personality disorder who was basically abusive to you. And so then you get these other layers of emotions, like you could be quite relieved that the person is no longer around to bother you. And that's something that people usually keep to themselves because, I mean, why would somebody say something so bad? You know, you're not supposed to speak ill of the dead, is how they put it. You're only supposed to remember the best parts. Great. Well, what if when somebody dies, it's not even a matter of remembering the best parts, but suddenly you've got all these memories that you haven't really had to deal with for quite a while just come flooding back, and then all of a sudden, you know, that's your life. You're absolutely reliving all this terrible stuff that you had to go through years ago. I mean, that happens. And chances are very good that nobody's going to sit and listen and relate to tales of, you know, what had happened to you, because again, you're not supposed to speak ill of the dead, even if it's completely accurate. So what do? You go into yourself and you make yourself feel worse about it, and etc., etc. Can't really talk about it. Nobody will hear you. You start judging yourself because how could you think something like that? You know. And yet, you also can't not do that because I basically get consumed with these memories. And it sucks. It sucks really bad. And if that is something that you are going through, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Not just that misstatement I just made. Like, I'm really sorry if that's what you're going through right now. And I'm really sorry if you're not having somebody that you can talk to, if there's nobody that you feel can relate to your feelings. I would say that that's not true. What is up with this? Oh, it's at the very, very bottom. I see. Okay. This is the very, very bottom. So grieving when you have avoidant personality disorder is not something to be taken lightly. Because there's so much of it. That feels like it should go there, but it doesn't match. Where else could it go? I don't know. I guess it does go there. It's just weird. Anyway, again, very non-coherent, and I'm really sorry about that. Mostly because I'm half asleep. And I feel like I gotta put something out, even if it's kind of crap, as far as a video. Because, you know, if you're grieving and there really isn't much that you feel like you can control in your life and everything's going completely bonkers, then having a stupid puzzle put together by somebody who's really not very good at it, and just talking might be exactly what you need to keep it together for a little bit longer. So, I sound like an idiot, and I'll keep talking. So basically, I would say the grieving emotions are doubled. It is, I'm going to get them out of order, but you know, it's shock, sadness, negotiating, anger, and acceptance in some variant of that is what you go through generally. In addition, when you have avoidant personality disorder, you also go through feelings of massive feelings of regret, because basically it's over. Like, you keep thinking in the back of your head, maybe somehow this whack relationship could get resolved, and then the person goes and dies on you, and you're never going to get resolution, ever. There it is, it's gone. You know, that this thought in the back of your head that maybe somehow it could have gotten better, maybe they come to their senses or whatever. Nope, they're not coming to their senses. It's done. But again, alongside that comes this relief that you're never also going to be abused by this person again. And so then that's the layer of guilt that you would get, because I mean, how dare you think that? In addition, you have the average normal avoidant personality disorder type reactions, which is, oh my goodness, I have to deal with people. I went through that incredibly badly when my parents died, both of them. It's like, oh no, now I have to deal with my relatives. I guess I didn't lose a piece. Which is just not pleasant. So, there's also fear, and then there's the abandonment, and then there's, yes, you have sort of an intense sense of responsibility that you have to act a certain way, and you have to do certain things, and maybe you do and maybe you don't. I mean, if you are a direct descendant of the person who died, then yeah, you maybe do legally have to follow some rules or whatever, but even if not, you've got to figure out how to act in the family, how to act around all these people. You're going to have this intense number of people showing up, and then you judge yourself. Judge yourself by basics. I mean, I actually said outright when my mother died that it was intense amount of work. I just went to work because I had to clean out her apartment. And the stereotype is that everybody brings you like a casserole and food and stuff like that, and they take care of you. Now, granted, they don't even know me. My relatives, not really. They don't know what my taste is in food or anything like that. But also, my mother's side of the family is super religious. I mean, they know this is the script. This is what you're supposed to do. Absolutely none of them did it, and I'm like, okay, I guess in a one way they're like respecting that I'm not, living the same kind of life as everybody else. But then on the other hand, I'm like, okay, I'm not worth the super basics of what you would get in a grieving situation. I am sorry that I keep bringing that up, but that's my experiences of what I can talk about. And it's also easy for me to talk about because it didn't affect me nearly. I had 2 cats die this year, and I was so upset. I also got more grief cards for my cats than I did for any of my parents. This is what I mean, that it's like it was acknowledged by people more. Cats than parents. Says a lot. And that sort of anomaly sort of sticks with you. It's more ammunition for the idea there's something wrong with me because of the avoidance, and I deserve the avoidance because, hey, look, this thing happened and nobody even followed that normal average guideline. Like, come on. What the heck? Anyway, so yeah. If good on you if you do. If you go to therapy, which, by the way, I went to therapy and I was judged by my therapist for not crying. I'm not saying that really to keep anybody from going to therapy, especially if you're already in therapy. I mean, you've got to prep yourself for that. If you go to therapy, your therapist is not going to know how to deal with this, is not going to know how to do a different sort of grief with so many more things, and they're going to tell you something stupid like, I mean, it's accurate, but it's stupid, like, oh, everybody grieves differently, but hey, you aren't doing the thing you're supposed to do. It's kind of annoying. So again, I'm sorry if you're grieving and all the memories are coming up, because now's the time. Hey, this time of year you hear this song and, oh, you remember you did this with this person. This time of year, oh, look, there's Christmas lights that remind you of this person. You know, oh, look, there's eggnog or some stupid thing that you used to eat with this person. They hated it. Oh no, here come the memories. Or maybe this is the first year that the memories are coming up and you're like, you don't know what to do. And I'm sorry if that's what you're going through. And it does get easier. And I mean, especially if it's somebody who was abusive to you and contributed to you having avoidant personality disorder. It's terrible to say. As much as you're not getting closure because they died and there's no way to have them change their behavior, which they weren't going to do anyway, the relief of not having the abusive person in your life anymore will make your life better. And I think it's seriously one of the reasons why everybody says that. And in my experience, and every single person I've talked to that has avoidant personality disorder, that it gets easier with age. And I think that's one of the reasons why, is because you truly get away from your abusive people. Either you moved away from bullies, or you've moved away from your siblings, or your parents die, or whichever authority figure it was that triggered you. They're gone. Anyway, I'm going to start coughing. So I'm going to end this, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.